Good morning, leaders in learning. Today we are talking about making predictions. Not probably a new reading skill for you, but we have some ideas to help you before reading, during reading, and after reading to think about what you're reading, what you think will happen, and then stopping and reflecting and saying, was I right? Was I wrong? So making predictions. A prediction is just a guess that you make using text or picture clues to help. So it's a guess, but it's an educated guess. It's not just some random idea or thought. You use some text evidence to support why you think what you think. So I think blank because, and then the evidence that supports that. Before you start reading, and I know when you were probably in first grade, you did a lot of picture walks, second grade, a lot of picture walks, looking at the pictures first, thinking about what might be happening, what might happen, and it gets our brains kind of focused on what we may be learning, the author's purpose, something that might stick out to us. So the title, the illustrations in the story, while you're reading, you stop and predict what will happen. Oh, I think such and such will happen. We do this a lot with movies, especially too. After you read, it's always good to go back and either confirm or adjust your prediction. Was I right? If you were right, you've confirmed it. I was right. If you weren't right, then you just adjust it. I wasn't right. This is what actually happened. So it's a way that good readers think about what they're reading and what might happen. I'll post this again separate of the video. You can take some notes afterwards. So today we're going to read The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt. I want you to think about the spider and the fly because you've probably read stories before about the spider and the fly. We don't have pictures today to make predictions on because it's a read aloud. So all we really have is the title. What do you know about spiders and flies? I know that spiders eat flies. That's one of their main meals. So I think this story might be about a spider eating a fly. Will you walk into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. 'Tis the prettiest little parlor that you ever may spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show you when you are there. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, to ask me is in vain. For who goes up your winding stair can ne'er come down again. So the spider's already up to the tricks, and the fly's already saying, you can't outsmart me. If you noticed in this first verse, there's a rhyming pattern of the spider uses to try to lure the fly into his home. It's quite poetic, and it's kind of, it's a little convincing, right? You're kind of like, ooh, what might be up there? I think each verse in this story might follow that pattern. What do you guys think? I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I've often heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed. I can hear this as a poem now, right? Because we have that repetitive pattern, the rhyme and the rhythm. Each line has a similar beat. We kind of know what to expect and how to read it with our voice. Every two lines end in rhyming words. That's kind of cool. Said the cunning spider to the fly, dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice? Oh, no, no, said the little fly. Kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see. I want to stop and think about my prediction. I was predicting the spider's going to eat the fly because that's what I know about spiders and flies before I've read. But I'm starting to wonder if I'm right because every verse so far, at the end, the fly is not outsmarted, right? He's still like, I am not a dummy. I know what you're trying to do. So, I wonder if I should change my prediction. Maybe the spider will not get to eat the fly because the fly is smarter than the spider thinks. Sweet creature, said the spider, you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'd step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. The spider turned him around about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. I wonder what that word subtle means. So he wove a subtle web. What do we know about webs? Webs are very sticky. They're very fragile. How many times have you walked into a web and not even known it was there? Yes, I'm thinking subtle probably means it's not easily seen or noticed. It kind of sits up out of the way, and it's easy to walk into a spider web, isn't it? And set his table ready, okay, to dine upon the fly. Then came out to his door again, and merrily did sing. Come hither, hither, pretty fly, and with pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crescent upon your head. Your eyes are like diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead. Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wily flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer grew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue, thinking only of her crested head. Poor foolish thing! At last up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into the dismal den within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words I pray you ne'er give heed. Never give heed. That means don't be tricked. Unto an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. So what was this lesson taught by the spider? She says, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you ne'er give heed. I pray you never give in to someone who's telling you something, right? Just to try to fool you. To say nice things and to compliment people is okay, but to try to convince somebody to do something by flattering them and telling them nice things, be aware and be careful. So, as we read this story, my prediction was wrong. My first prediction was right, but then I changed my mind in the middle, thinking this fly was quite clever. I think the spider outwitted the fly, didn't she? So my prediction was wrong, so I had to adjust my prediction because the fly finally gave in to all that flattery and all those nice things the spider said. I also, while I was reading, made a connection. And lately we've been able to make lots of text-to-self connections because those are the easiest ones to make. But when I was reading this, about line 25 or so, I started having a connection, a text-to-text connection with the Three Little Pigs. And when the wolf comes to their home and tries to get them to let him in, and so that reminded me of that story of the Three Little Pigs and the wolf trying to convince the pig to let him in. So that was a connection I made that was kind of fun. So as we go in today to our reading in small groups and we look at some stories together with whoever your teacher is, I want you to think about making a prediction. Before you read, what do you think your story will be about and why? What caused you to think that? Was it the title and what you already knew, your prior knowledge about spiders and flies? Is it maybe a picture you see? Maybe you've read the story before. And then as you're reading, check yourself. See what's happening. And then at the end, do that final evaluation. Was I right? Was I wrong? And why? We'll see you guys in just a little bit. Make sure you take your notes. I'll post them with the video.